Capitec, yeah. Look, for me, it's very simple. I just don't buy the story. I can't see how in the South African market, an unsecured lender is the most profitable bank in the world. It really doesn't have a lot of market share in South Africa. 2% of loans, 2% of deposits, 2% of total assets. Yet it's rated as if it's the third best bank in South Africa. It's rated at 167 billion rands, bigger than Nedbank, substantially bigger, almost double, bigger than ABSA. It has one product with various loans packaged in it. I don't buy the story. I just don't buy the story.
The reality is that the majority of analysts have Capitec as a sell. Not to say that there aren't some that still think it's a buy because of the long-term potential. But why the sell? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, the valuation. As I said, it's the sixth largest bank behind Standard Bank, First Rand, Investec, Nedbank, ABSA, and sizably smaller. In fact, the market share of deposits, which they brag about, and the market share of loans ex-mortgage is basically 2%. And of course, we're not taking mortgage loans and other loans into account, but the total loans in the commercial and retail market. So Capitec is small in that context, yet it's the third largest bank by market cap. So it's the most expensive bank in South Africa, perhaps the most expensive bank in the world. I mean, most banks are at a slight discount to NAV, say 0.7 to NAV, which is what Nedbank is trading on, some even lower like Investec. And they run up to a really good great bank, might be, say, twice book. So that's more or less where First Rand is. But Capitec is 5 times book, price to book. That is considered extremely expensive and pricing in growth which one wonders whether it's achievable. So let's have a look and see what the quality of Capitec's book is like. There's a lot of things to look at, but first of all, we've had COVID, we've had reporting in headlines earnings, and of all the banks that have reported, Capitec obviously had the opportunity to report for the February period. Most of them reported for December period. So the decline in headline earnings per share for Capitec was a lot less than some of the other banks. Part of the reason also has to do with the captive sale and their tax situation, but that's something else to discuss. So most people are saying, listen, Capitec is extremely conservative. They've provided conservative provisioning. The credit loss ratio is a lot higher than the other banks. The credit loss ratio is 10.4. Most of the other banks are providing, say, between 2.2%, 2%, 1.5. But is that really the case? If you have a look at a breakdown of that provisioning, in the second half, the credit loss ratio was actually 2.3%. Now, bearing in mind that their book is all unsecured lending, term loans, credit cards, now an access facility. And so the credit loss ratio in the second half is actually pretty much in line with what we've seen with the other banks. Is this the case? Should they have released provisions? Or what does their book look like? At the moment, we consider everything in terms of stage 1. Now, stage 1 are people that are sticking to arrangement. They're paying exactly as they should be. If you look at the percentage of their books, regardless of restructuring, remember they've restructured 7.5 billion rand in loans, plus 8.6 billion has been given in access facilities to new clients. So that's 15 billion rand of the book has been restructured, that we know for sure. Then 36% is not up to date. Stage 3, which is more concerning, has increased substantially to the point where 21% of the loan book, 15.9 billion, are in arrears. Okay, so just keep in mind that you used to have a company that had an average loan of under 6 months. Now the term is 44 months. The size of the book that's more than 36 months or that has rolling credit like credit cards and access loans is more than 60%. The average loan is far higher than it's ever been. Just in the last year, 8.6 billion has moved to the access facility product. My concern is a rolling loan gathers no loss. The way things have been structured now, these loans roll and they don't require a full term payment. The other thing is growth in net interest income after impairments has really been muted or in decline over the last 6 years. If you have a quick look at the slide, you can actually see that the net interest income from 2020 to 2021 declined by 51%. From 2019 to 2020 it was only a 5% growth. 2018 to 2019 and only an 8% growth. It was in a 4% decline in 2028, only 2% growth in 2017. This is how banks make their money. They make their money from interest. And basically Capitec have been in decline. The impairments have hit that, and I personally don't think that the impairments are a true reflection of the book.